Public Services. Thank you, Robert, very much. Chris at GB News.
Chris Hope, GB News. Keir Starmer, you're so far ahead in the polls. Should we prepare for a one-party socialist state, as the Tories say? And is that a good thing? And also, just quickly, you want to reduce net migration. What on earth does that mean? Is that below 100,000 a year?
Look, Chris, let's reject the cynicism of the Tory campaign. All they want to do in a general election is to suppress the vote. I know that not a single vote has been cast in this election. Polls don't predict the future, and every single vote has to be earned. And we will earn it with our plan for growth, our plan for creation of wealth in the future. So that is our plan. And yes, I do want a mandate to be able to put this plan into action. I do want people to vote Labour to give us the mandate that we need. I want people to vote for a Labour candidate in their constituency so that Labour MP can sit on the government benches delivering this manifesto for them and their constituents. Yes, I want that mandate. Change is what we need, but if you want change, you have to vote for change, and that means voting Labour. Thank you very much, Chris. Natasha, LBC.
Chris, I didn't do your second half of the question. I'll come back to it and I've dealt with Natasha.
Hi, Natasha Clark from LBC. It's 3 weeks today until polling day. The Tories are warning of Labour supermajority. How confident are you feeling right now? Are you feeling like the campaign's going well? And are you worried that maybe a Labour win for you might just be off the back people voting for you because they hate the Tories so much? Thank you.
No, we've had plenty of examples when people don't like the Tories and they're a real mess. But Labour hasn't been in a position to win. That's why we changed the Labour Party, precisely because we know that the Tories will mess it up, but we have to be in a position to win. We only win if we change the Labour Party. When people look away from the government and look at the alternative, they have to see a positive alternative, and that's what they see in the Labour Party. I don't take anything for granted as we go to the final 3 weeks of this campaign. Yes, we are enjoying the campaign. I won't deny that. We've waited 4.5 years. We've worked for 4.5 years to get to this point, election year, the chance to do what we came into politics to do, which is change the lives of millions of people for the better with a Labour government. We'll do that with our sleeves rolled up, a serious plan for the future, and take our argument to every single doorstep across the country and ask people to back the case for change, ask people to give us a mandate to change this country for them, their family, their community, and our country. Thank you very much. Chris, you did do a double question, but nonetheless, on immigration, we do need to have lower immigration. As you know, immigration is at pretty much the highest on record, bar the number just a few months ago. So this government has lost control of immigration. It's important to look at the reasons for that, and the main driving reason is because they haven't got any skills strategy. We haven't got the skills that we need in this country, and that's why not only is our plan here a plan for growth, it will also deal with immigration, because this government has gone to immigration as their growth lever. I want to go to skills, wealth creation, investing in businesses in this country. Thank you, Chris. That's not an invite to everybody to do 2 questions, by the way. But out of respect for Chris, I did it. Sophie, the Mirror.
Sophie Huskisson from the Daily Mirror. Sir Keir, your manifesto says you'll develop an ambitious strategy to reduce child poverty. Do you have a target for how many kids you want to lift out of poverty?
Well, we will have a strategy for dealing with poverty, just as the last Labour government did. And we took millions of children out of poverty, and we will do so again. That does require a strong plan to deal with those issues that bear down on poverty and children. That's housing, that's education, that's health, that's good jobs, and it's wealth creation. Because without the wealth creation that we need for our country, it's very difficult to do the support that we need in our country. And that's why I say we are the party of wealth creation. This is a plan for wealth wealth creation. It is a plan for growth. That is the single driving mission of what I hope will be an incoming Labour government. Thank you, Sophie. Martina from The Sun. Martina.
Hello, Sir Keir. Martina Bett from The Sun. In order to clear the asylum backlog, you said that you will let small boat migrants currently here enter the asylum system. But what is the plan for new people who arrive here illegally? Because there is nothing about that in the manifesto. Will they be able to apply for a claim? If so, isn't that just an incentive for more people to come?
Look, those that are already here are already in the system. They're just not being processed. And that means the government has got a hopeless situation where tens of thousands of people are not being processed. So the one thing that can't happen is that they're removed to the country they came from, even if they've got no right to be here. That is the chaotic state of this government. They're not processing the claim. Even clear cases where people shouldn't be here, they can't be removed. We've got to fix that. We've got to fix the loss of control of our borders under this government. Nobody should be making that trip across the channel in small boats. And the way that we will do that is with our Border Security Command, which is set up specifically with new powers, a new command with new resources to smash the gangs that are running the vile trade of putting vulnerable people in boats to go across the channel. Now, before I was in this job, I was the chief prosecutor for 5 years. I've worked with law enforcement across countries to smash terrorist gangs, sophisticated terrorist gangs, and I will never accept that the only gang that apparently we can't smash is the vile smuggling gangs that are running this trade. I'll never accept that. Thank you so much. Chris from The Times.
Chris Smythe from The Times. You've made it very clear that you're not putting up taxes on working people. You've left other taxes on the table, and you also said there'll be no return to austerity. You're putting a lot of emphasis on growth, but you know, as you said, there is no magic wand. There is a chance that your growth plans don't happen as quickly as you want. So people want to know, what is your instinct in that situation if the sums don't add up? Is it to borrow more? Is it to cut spending? Or is it to put up taxes?
Chris, this manifesto is a total rejection of that defeatist approach, that the only levers are tax and spend. It's a total rejection of that. It's a plan for growth. I accept there's no magic wand. I accept that you don't get growth without a plan. That's what all the forecasts are based on, that things won't change, can't change, will flat line. That's why we're having this discussion about tax and spend. I reject that. That's why this is a plan for growth, a carefully thought through plan for growth. Hundreds and hundreds of conversation engagements with businesses, with communities, with local representatives and leaders about the change that we can bring about. And some of it is obvious stuff, it's common sense stuff. Planning holds up infrastructure all of the time. Years and years are lost in pretty well every infrastructure project. We can't get things done. We can't get things moving. We can't build things, whether that's big projects or the houses that we need. We don't have an industrial strategy that actually makes sure we've got the skills and the initiatives in the places that we need them. We haven't got a national wealth fund at the moment, which invests in the future of our country and gets the private sector to invest with it. All of these things will make a material difference, and I have absolute confidence in the plan for growth that we're putting before the country. I will not accept the defeatism that says all that we can hope for in this country is to flatline. That is the absolute opposite of the hope that we inject through this manifesto. Thank you, Chris, very much. Ben, Telegraph.
Thank you, Ben Riley-Smith, The Telegraph. Keir Starmer, your rhetoric suggests you want taxes coming down, but this manifesto explicitly has taxes going up, I think in the costings pages, by about 7 to 8 billion. So can you just be crystal clear, you're going into the election with a platform of tax rises?
The tax rises we've set out in the manifesto were there's no surprises, Ben, this morning, as you will see. You'll have gone through the document quickly. You'll go through it, no doubt, at length later on. There are no tax rises that we haven't already announced. Yes, we want to bear down properly on the non-dom tax status and make sure that super rich pay their fair share in this country. Yes, we want the oil and gas companies to pay fair tax on the massive profits that they're making. Yes, we want to make sure that private equity loopholes aren't there again for wealthy. And yes, we've taken the tough decision in relation to VAT. So we will take all of those measures. But what you won't see in this manifesto is any plan that requires tax rises over and above those that we have already set out. Because we've been very, very clear, particularly in relation to working people, no increase in income tax, no increase in national insurance, and no increase in VAT. Absolutely clearly set out in this manifesto. Thank you, Ben. Jason from the Daily Mail.
Thanks, Sir Keir. You've said that taxes are too high. Just to follow on Ben's question, your manifesto, I think, is going to put them up about £8 billion. The Tories say they're going to cut them by £17 billion. Are you happy fighting the election on that tax divide? And can I just pick up one from Beth's interview with you last night, which I don't think you ever quite got round to answering? You're among friends here. Did you really think Jeremy Corbyn was going to be a great PM?
Well, look, on the tax question, you can see what the Conservatives are doing. Every day they are desperately putting a new policy, a new gimmick on the table, which is unfunded. Now, if there's one lesson from Liz Truss and what happened to the economy, it's if you make unfunded tax cuts, then it damages the economy and working people pay the price. And I was in Stafford just a few weeks ago during this campaign, in the kitchen of a woman who was a paramedic and her wife, who works in a jewellery shop. They bought their house 5 years ago. They were on a fixed rate mortgage. They've got 2 kids. That has come to an end after 5 years. They've hunted around, but the best mortgage they can get is one that's hundreds of pounds more, and they can't afford it, and they're going to have to move. That is the price you pay for unfunded tax cuts. And Rishi Sunak, he was supposed, if there's one thing that he was supposed to do, it was to provide the stability after Liz Truss. And here he is, repeating it. And it'll be working people who pay the price for that. And in relation to Jeremy Corbyn in the last election, I didn't think we would win the last election. I didn't think that we were in a state to win it. That is reinforced by the work that we have now done. We were rejected by the country, and the first decision I took was if you get rejected that badly by the country, you don't look at the voter and say, what on earth were you doing? You look at your party and you change it. And I've led this party through that change, and Jeremy Corbyn is not just not a Labour candidate, he's expelled from this party. That is how much change we have brought around. Kitty at the Eye.
Thank you, Kitty Donaldson from the iNewspaper. You're giving the impression of a man in a hurry. Tony Blair made the Bank of England independent in the first week of his landslide. What would Prime Minister Keir Starmer do in the first week of a Labour government? And how long will you give voters before they judge you on your ability to make changes?
The first thing I do is return politics to service. To serve this country. I came into politics to serve. I had a career in the law before this. My wife rather thinks I should have stayed with it. But I changed. But I changed because I wanted to serve my country. And I think politics in the last 10 to 14 years has become too much about self-entitlement and not enough about service. So the mindset change, if we are able to come into government on day one, the most important thing will be service, country first, party second. Every decision will be dictated by that. Is it country first, service of the country? And I'll be judged on that service, as I have been in the past. I worked with the police service of Northern Ireland, changing that so that it had the confidence of both communities with others. I worked with the Crown Prosecution Service, a service prosecuting every criminal case in England and Wales to protect the public. And I've changed the Labour Party into a party that again is once again in the service of working people. What we are now seeking is the opportunity to change our country, to put it back in the service of working people. That will be the big change from day one, and everything else hangs off that. Country first, party second. Thank you, Kitty, very much. Pippa from The Guardian. Pippa.
Pippa Crerar from The Guardian. We all know that voters' trust and confidence in British politics has never been lower. There's been numerous political scandals over the years that have played a big role in that. If you win the election, will you set up your new Ethics and Integrity Commission within the first 100 days? And are you watering down your ban on ex-ministers lobbying the government from 5 years? Rishi Sunak has struggled to lead a government of integrity, professionalism and accountability at every level. But can you do any better?
Yes, and I'm determined that we will do better. Because I've been in public service all my life. I've been held to high standards all my life. I've led from the front all of my life. And yes, we will get on with changing the codes and the ethics codes and the guidance that is in place straight away in government. But I know that nobody will believe it's changed until they see the action that follows. You do need strong codes. You do need good commissioners. But you need to take action. You need to take action when people breach those codes. And that's what we will do. Just as I knew when we were changing the Labour Party. I said on day one I would rip out anti-Semitism by the roots. I knew I'd be judged not by what I said on day one, but what I did on day 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and on and on and on. And so it will be the same in government. We are going to turn this around, to put politics back in the service of working people. We'll be judged by the actions that we take, as well as the promises that we make. Thank you, Pippa, very, very much. Jim from the FT.
Jim Pickard, Financial Times. The private equity industry has been lobbying very hard for you to dilute the removal of the carried interest loophole that industry enjoys. It seems pretty clear from the documents in the manifesto that you're still hoping to raise over £500 million from doing that. Is it your guarantee that the amount they pay in tax will go up from 28p in the pound to 45%, or is there still some wriggle room in that policy? Thank you.
Jim, we are absolutely determined to change the rules, to close this loophole, and the money that is set out in the schedule at the back of the manifesto tells you how much yield there will be from that. So that's the plan, that's how we'll carry it out. And what you will see, and thank you for drawing attention to it, for everybody who's got the document, is in the last few pages, about page 109, Rachel is demonstrating the page that says every policy is fully costed and fully funded. She's got it open, she wrote every word of it. And that is important because you can only build the wealth that we need in this country on the foundation of stability. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for your questions. Thank you all of you. Onward we go to change. Thank you.